What's going on, guys? Spud here, and welcome to episode 49 of the Roundup. In today's episode, we're going to be doing our CDL Champs predictions. And I'm going to pick who I think is going to win Champs and Champs MVP. Sorry for the late upload. Been a bit busy this week at work. So this is actually the first time we've ever recorded a Roundup for Thursday, I think. Champs starts in about 4 hours, I think. 4.5, I don't know. But it's going to be amazing. In Kitchener, Ontario, I believe it is. I was going to do something about the Counter-Strike merger, but I'll leave that for episode 51. Obviously, episode 50 is our champ special. At this moment in time, by the way, the roundup will not continue next year, but I think maybe just a break is what I need, and then I'll be firing up for next year, because you've got to remember this is the first full season, so I won't make a decision until like a month into the off season. Obviously, when we have a big break, that'll help. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also follow my Twitch account and my TikTok, stuff like that. And yeah, obviously the only part of this video is going to be the champs predictions. We are going to do each game, what score it's going to be. Obviously, grand finals is a best of 9. No team has ever gone back to back. So will it be Optic's time to do that? Let me rephrase that. No organisation has gone back to back, because obviously it is a different team than what they had last season. But yeah, it's going to be another short episode, I think. Obviously, because we know next week's episode is going to be long. I don't even know when I'm going to record it. It might be a late upload next week, because it's going to be like an hour at least. So let's get straight into it. So we have Thieves versus Breach, Surge versus Heretics, FaZe Optic, which is obviously the main event, and Ultra Ravens. Now it's champs. I am going to be putting some shock results in, because it's champs, and if it would not go smooth sailing, not a chance. Here we go then. We're going to start first with Thieves versus Breach, and I'm going to go with a 3-0, pretty convincing win for the LA Thieves. And obviously the elimination bracket, there is no one starts that, everyone starts in the winners bracket, so obviously Breach would be the first team in that bracket. There is 4 games on today, so nobody can get eliminated on Thursday. Now Surge versus Heretics is an interesting one. Obviously Heretics, I've had a few top 3s. Surge had back-to-back grand finals, but got top 12 last stage. I think Heretics are the favourites going into this, but I'm going to go with the Vancouver Surge. It's a tough one, this. I'm going to go 3-2, no, 3-1 Surge. I think if it goes to a game 5, I think Heretics might win that. So I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, that would put Heretics against Breach. Elimination game. Like I said, I'm expecting some shocks. Now, Optic have only beaten FaZe once since MW2, and that was at MW3, Major 3, Losers Finals, and then they obviously won the Major 3. They ended up winning champs, obviously. FaZe are unbeaten against Optic this season, but the amount of times Optic should have won the series, but their own mistakes cost them, it's ridiculous. Look, it's champs. FaZe, I think, have a lot of... I think out of all these teams, I think FaZe... Obviously, FaZe and Thieves are probably the ones that have the most to lose. But honestly, I would say it's FaZe. And I'm going to go for the biggest shock of the lot. I've got Optic beating FaZe. I never predict Optic to beat FaZe normally. But I have this feeling that Shotzi is going to have an absolute outrageous series against FaZe. I don't know why I think this, but I'm going to go with it. I didn't want a boring bracket. I've had to try and make it a bit interesting, but I'm going to go 3-2 Optic. Game 5. It's going to be insane. All this before, obviously, it's a phase 3 or probably. But then we have Ultra versus Royal Ravens. Obviously, Ultra horsing it. They're the horse of champs. No, people won't be complaining this time around if Ultra don't win the blah. It's not Optic, so it doesn't matter. But I expect Ultra to win this one 3-1, sending the Ravens to the losers bracket. So that's the Thursday's matches. Then we're going to start with our elimination games. Boston Breach versus Miami Heretics. Loser goes home top 8 at champs. The winner will advance, sorry. And I am going to go with the Miami Heretics to comfortably win this 3-1. I think Breach might take the control. And I don't think FaZe are getting a top 8 finish, guys. I'm going to put FaZe to beat Royal Ravens. I think they're pretty straightforward. If this was the correct bracket, then I think it's pretty straightforward. So then we're going to do our winners round 2 matches. So Thieves versus Surge. Obviously, Thieves reverse sweep Surge at Major 3 winners finals and then thrashed them 4-0 in the grand final. So it's going to be an interesting series. I'm going to go 3-1 here, but I am going to go with the Thieves. I just think they're in the best place right now. Out of all these teams, Thieves are the favourites. They were the favourites before the season started as well. So it's not really a surprise that I'm putting them there. By the way, obviously no webcam this episode, just because we were only doing the champs predictions, and obviously we don't do predictions like this with the webcam on anyway, just because you want to be able to see the entire screen. So that's not a like a permanent thing. Obviously I put it on last episode, but that's just like I said, just a one-off. So then we have Optic versus Toronto Ultra. Ultra being the host, I think if Optic do beat FaZe, they're going to be on such a high that they believe they can win the whole thing. Obviously, I've not really been predicting Optic very well. This season they did get to grand finals though. At Major 4, I did predict them to get 3rd, they got 4th. I predicted them to win Major 1. I predicted them 6th in Champs 2024 and they won it. But I've just got this feeling Mercules is going to go crazy. And Optic are going to beat Toronto Ultra in winners round 2. Which then sends Ultra to play Miami Heretics, which would be a very interesting one. Obviously, Koi versus Heretics. The Spanish org rivalry will continue into champs, and that would guarantee Optic top 3. Obviously, no one cares really about top 3. You want to win champs. If you don't win champs, you've not really been successful. Yeah, you might get some nice money for 2nd or 3rd, but you want to be playing for the ring. That's what people remember the most. So then we're going to do our losers round 2 matches. Heretics, these are bangers, by the way. I think if you take Breach and Royal Ravens out, it's genuinely such a nice bracket. So, Ultra versus Heretics. I'm going to go with Toronto Ultra to win this 3, or by the Optic Ultra will be 3-1. I think Ultra will win Game 5 against Miami Heretics and advance to the top 4. So Heretics, I think getting top 6 would be a disappointment for them because of how good they've played in the last couple of splits, especially since Super came into the team. FaZe versus Surge. This is going to be close, but I'm going to go 3-1 here to FaZe. I just think that they've got more power than Surge do, and it's going to be a top 6 for Surge, which I think will be a bit disappointing, seeing as they got to -1 grand final, no, sorry, -2 grand final, Major 2 grand final, and Major 3 grand final. But I do think it will be a top 6 for Surge. They've kind of got a tough bracket in terms of they're probably going to have to play Thieves if they beat Heretics, and then play probably Optic or FaZe. So I'm going to go with that, which then receives Ultra versus FaZe. And if these were the 4 teams that get top 4, I don't think it's really a shock. But FaZe obviously lost to Ultra Champs 2024 for top 6. And Ultra have the fans on their side anyway. Joe Deceives is a brilliant player. And it all comes down to insight, playing well. So, with that being said, if the inconsistencies of the ARs for Ultra, I've just got this feeling, and honestly, it's probably because I don't like FaZe, but I'm going to go with Toronto Ultra to shock the world and take FaZe out of Champs contention. Top 4 finish for FaZe. Yeah, they won 2 majors, they won a minor. They might win EWC, but if they don't win Champs again, it's another disappointing season for them. You know, the amount of times that they've gone into these events, into Champs, expecting that they should win, and to potentially only have 1 chip as the trio in the CDL, is quite bad, to be honest. You know, you'd expect them to do better, but I'm gonna go with Ultra, and then we have that's gonna be 3-1 Ultra, by the way, not even a game 5. Thieves versus Optic. I think this is going to be pretty straightforward for Thieves, honestly. I'm going to go 3-1 to Thieves to send Optic to the losers final against Toronto Ultra. I just think that the power that Thieves have is just going to overrun Optic. You know, this is a god squad that Thieves have built. I can't see them losing to Optic in winners final. And then Ultra versus Optic. It's going to go to a game 5, round 11. I'm not even joking. And Mercules is going to kill Beans in a 1v1 to take Optic to grand finals. Absolute cinema. Sorry, I just went for a drink there. Honestly, yeah, Optic are going to get to a game 5. It's going to go to a round 11. It's going to be on protocol. It's going to be in the underground bit. Mercules versus Beans, 1v1. Winner goes to Champs final, and Mercules is going to do it. The crowd's going to go insane, even though it's an ultra event. The crowd is going to go insane. Optic fans will probably be in the majority anyway. And it's going to set up a rematch. LA Thieves versus Optic Texas. So, the last 2 Champs finals, MW2 was 5-0 subliners against Ultra. MW3, Optic won 5-1 against New York Subliners. We're going to carry on with this route that the winner is going to win 5-2, and the 2025 CDL champs are going to be your LA Thieves. Look, I'd love it to have been Optic, but I'm a realist. Can't see Optic winning champs. A fairy tale run to the grand finals would be lovely and doable, but I can't see them getting it over the line. However amazing it would be, of course, but I just think it's going to be Thieves' tournament. They're going to have won 3 in a row. Scrap's going to get his first ring. Envoy's second. Hydra's second. And Ghosty's first. MVP is going to go to Hydra, in my opinion. I think Hydra's going to be the difference maker. Obviously, the MW2 MVP went to Kismet, I think, in finals. It must have went to Kismet. But yeah, I'm going to go with Hydra. Obviously, they've changed it now, so it's basically across the whole event rather than just the grand finals. So I'll go with Hydra. If it wasn't that and it was just for the actual grand final, I actually might have went for Dylan Envoy. But I'm going to go with that. So that is my bracket. Obviously, let me know down below who you think is going to win champs, who you think is going to get MVP, which teams are going to go on a decent run, like Ultra Optic potentially, who's going to flop, Surge, Heretics. It's going to be a great event. And it also challenges as well. I'll be honest, I don't really know many of the challengers teams. I've not really paid much attention to challengers this year. But I will be watching some challengers or the challengers champ stuff. Apparently the setups are really good as well. And obviously the top 4 teams in that will go to EWC. So that's good. Now, will there be any roster mania? Obviously, going into EWC, we might see a few of these teams change potentially. Not the big teams, obviously. Probably the teams that aren't in it anymore. Like aren't in champs contention, like Rocker, Falcons, Cloud9. Who's the other one? Oh, Gentlemates. So yeah, I think that'll probably, they might change. Obviously, I've seen that D-Real and Marky B have been made free agents. A rough year for D-Real, especially after his success on the subliners. You know, his stock has gone right down because of this. Was it just Hydra that carried him? Do you know what I mean? Like, we'll never really know. So I'm interested to see what sort Gentlemates do going into EWC and what Falcons do. They might try and pick up a few good players for EWC. But it is going to be a really good event. Obviously, may the best team win. Obviously, I'm hoping that the best team will be Optic, but I'm not confident. I think Grand Finals is a ridiculous push. I think they should get top 4, in my opinion, as a minimum. But we'll see what happens. It's crazy. This could be the last CDL, see in the middle of the CDL season roundup, because obviously episode 50 is going to be after the CDL season's finished because it's champs review, and then we might do an episode where we talk about challengers, champs, and the major that just happened in Austin for CS, and then EWC predictions episode 52, and then EWC 53 for probably COD and CS together in a combined episode, or we'll do separate, and then that could be it. I really enjoy doing the roundup, but I'm not enjoying the long 45-minute episodes as much anymore, especially when the views aren't as good as I would have probably liked, which I'm sure you can understand. It can be a bit crap for me. But obviously, if this is the last season of it, I wanted to say thank you so much, especially for the views we've got, like what, 4 videos with over 100 views, one that's got over 420 views. It is really appreciated, and it means a lot for the people that, even if they watch it for a few minutes but they like the video, they don't know what I'm talking about, but they like the video. It means a lot to me, just because I do put a lot of effort into the roundup. And yeah, obviously remember, gold thumbnail for major winners. So obviously we did the one when for the big event. So obviously Optic won Champs 24. I did the golden one. I did the golden one when Team Spirit won major in Counter Strike, because obviously that's they do 2 majors a year. So it's bigger than like a Call of Duty major. Anyway, that's going to be the end of that. All my rambling is going to end now. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe if you're new. And enjoy Champs Weekend. It's going to be a classic. See you later.